Hey guys, it's Nick Shively from MMOGames with you again for some Halls of the Bloodsworn PvP. This map is completely different than Walatiki Temple. There's a lot more teamwork involved. There's also two sides. First you'll play as the attackers, the second side you'll play as the defenders. You can tell by clicking the timer up here. See, it says that attacker, my name, so we're obviously attacking first. I'm just going to show you the attacker side of the video because these matches can be fairly long, sometimes 20 to 40 minutes if the timer runs out completely. And how this works is there's 3 rooms, and each room has a center point and 2 stations. The goal for the attackers is to capture the stations and then stand in the middle to gain points, and the goal of the defenders is obviously not to let that happen. What many people don't know is you can actually win without being in the middle at all. If you capture the stations, you gain about 2% per second for each station. So that means that if you've got control of those stations, you can technically win with having nobody in the center. This is a good strategy for some teams. If you can draw a large enemy force to the middle and then capture the stations, the enemy doesn't really know how to adapt to that sometimes. The last video I was running burst EPS build. This time I'm using more of an AoE build because people tend to group up in this map more, and it's more team fights, bigger, longer fights that can last for a very long time. And it's also important to keep people away from stations. So I have brought Shred for this fight. It's important for making sure people can't recapture stations or capture stations in the first place. Just having presence on these stations is probably one of the most important things in this type of a game.
Double kill.
What's nice about being a stalker or a warrior or a medic, just like in Walatiki Temple, is with that teleport or jump, you can jump from each side back to the middle if your skill is actually off of cooldown. That should have worked, but it didn't. Now the build that I'm using focuses on collapse, false retreat, and neutralize. I suck everybody in, I knock them down, I stun them, and then I do a ton of AoE damage. And hopefully the enemy team dies, which is pretty much what happened there. And we already captured this first point fairly quickly. It only took us a couple minutes. We're slightly out damaging the enemy team, but we have more than 3 times their healing. It doesn't look like they have a very strong dedicated healer.
A secondary
control
point has been captured by the Dominion.
Their Spellslinger is their healer, and they're not nearly as good as most medics or espers when it comes to healing. This is the second room, obviously. Now the stations are on platforms above the center, and what's nice about this room is that instead of being able to jump from the center to the stations, you can actually jump from each station to station.
Double kill. Triple kill.
So I can come over here, capture this station, and if I see the other station is in trouble, I can jump over there and attempt to capture that one. Right now we've got both stations, so I'm just going to jump down and try and take out any of the enemies that are in the middle. Make this go as quickly as possible.
Double kill. Triple kill.
And as you can see, by splitting our forces between each station and then pushing middle, we were able to pretty much dominate the other team on this map. And we're already at 97% and it's captured now. The third room is a little bit trickier, mostly because you can't jump from station to station or station to middle. Instead, what you've got our platforms up on the top. These little orange platforms, you can jump on them and head to the middle. I'm gonna make sure this guy's safe first. Alright, we captured it, and now jump on this, and it'll send me to the bottom of the other one where I can now jump into the center, or where I can try to capture the other station, which I'll try to do right now. Hopefully I can take one of these guys out or force him to drop down and grab the station real quick. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen now that 2 more guys showed up and I'm by myself. And there's my first death of the match. But as you can see, we're already at 52%. So unless the enemy team can really rally while we're on the defense and end the match incredibly quickly, we're probably going to end up winning this one. Just going to go ahead and call it right now.
Double kill.
Sometimes enemy teams are surprisingly good on offense, even if they're bad at defense, but it's usually not the case. We had absolutely no difficulty capturing any of the points, and we've already completed the round. The enemy team has about 6 minutes. The average public team can do it in 8 to 9, sometimes 10. Sometimes they don't get it at all. So there's a good chance that we're going to win this one. Again, thanks for joining me. If you have any questions or you're still confused about how Halls of the Bloodsworn is played, please feel free to comment, shoot me an email, whatever. And yeah, thanks for following my column, and I hope you stop by next week. Have a great night, everyone.